Unbiased. Let's talk about all the nitty gritty details about what happened in the episode. I'm going to try and keep this shorter than what I usually do, fair and unbiased, because they usually end up being 20 minutes long and it's just me rambling, so I'm going to try and cut it down and keep it short but sweet. So let's go. Clary. Yes, Clary. In season 1 there was a major problem with Clary because she didn't seem to have any respect for the world that she had entered. There's always the argument, oh, but she was trying to find her mum, and I understand that. She had lost her mum, she was distraught, she was panicked, but this whole, I don't care about your rules, I don't care about your culture, I don't care about all that. You would think as it progresses she would have become more respectful of that, but it seemed in season 1 she didn't, and I thought it would be remedied in season 2. It hasn't really been addressed yet, but I hope it will. I see in the sneak peek for episode 2 that Alec puts her in her place, and thankfully most people aren't going oh, poor Clary, she didn't need that, she's like da 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 da. They were like, yeah, I can see where Alec is coming from, because as I said in First Thoughts, she literally says to him, I'm missing him too. And you're like, okay, but you're not getting it. They're parabatai. They're literally missing a piece of each other right now. It's not exactly the same thing. Doesn't mean that she shouldn't be mourning. It doesn't mean that she shouldn't be wanting to find him. But it does mean that she should be more sympathetic towards the people around her, even to Isabel. Jace isn't Isabel's parabatai, but she was still raised with him, so she still has more of an incentive to be upset than Clary. And it just seems to be a blatant disrespect that Clary seems to have. She seems to think that, oh, I'm part of this world now, I know everything, I love Jace just as much, I think I'm a shadow hunter now, even though I've barely done any training, but I can still beat Isabel. That really bothered me. That is Mary Sue syndrome going on right there. Mary Sue syndrome, I am not letting fly by with Clary. I don't mind the way Shadowhunters is portraying Clary, but I do not believe Isabel would get caught off guard like that. It's the oldest trick in the book for someone to trip you up while they're lying down, and the amount of training Isabel has had compared to Clary, I do not believe for 1 second that Clary beat Isabel just by knocking her over when she was on the ground. I know Isabel won the first one, the first sort of battle, but I don't think that she would have put her guard down enough for Clary to trip her up. It was a nice scene if they hadn't have added that. You're like, oh, I'm a quick study. Not that quick. People have been these Shadowhunters have been training since they were children, you're not that fast. But yeah, Mary Sue syndrome is definitely starting to become a problem with Clary. I'm hoping that Alec putting her in her place next episode will make her more aware of what she's doing is wrong, that she can't just get on like this when she knows nothing about the society around her still. Her mum has a point when she says that she doesn't know anything, but Clary also had a point when she said that it's your fault, you didn't tell me, and that makes sense as well. It's a very complicated situation, but Clary shouldn't be acting like, oh, I know what's going on, I'm a quick study, I'll be a Shadowhunter in no time. And her mum shouldn't be like, you don't know anything, you don't know what this world is, you don't know your brother because she didn't tell her. It's not like she hid it from her. That was the whole point of season 1. It's very complex, and I'll be very interested to see how they play that off and how it's going to develop onwards from there. So I hope I'll begin to like Clary's character more. Maybe she'll have some more development, and she'll improve and train more and be less of a sort of, ooh, I know what I'm doing, I don't need rules, One of the problems I had, and this is a very minor problem, this is one of the negative things I wanted to talk about. One of Dominic Sherwood's rooms were washing off. You know, in the scene where he's getting tortured in Valentine's boat, yeah, they were throwing water on him. When his arms were above his head, it looked like the rune here was washing off. Did no one spot that? Was no one like, oh my god, his rune's washing off, we're going to have to reapply that and then do this again? I don't know if I was seeing things or not, but I think someone else brought it up. It wasn't even massive, it was just a wee bit in the corner, it looked like it was rubbing off, like a temporary tattoo or something. It's the first makeup problem I've ever actually noticed on the show, but I hope that like that's the only one, because it would be a bit of a bummer that all this new special effects and stuff have been introduced but they couldn't notice a wash off rune. So that's one of the minor issues I had, as well as my problem with Clary. So hopefully they'll not have any more like water scenes, because they can't seem to notice when there's wash off runes, or when the runes are just sort of peeling a bit. Or maybe that was just the best take, like, oh, I don't know, I'm not that bothered by it, like, I'm not gonna go, oh, they're so careless, they didn't notice. It's just, I find it kind of funny. I was like, oh my god, it's like one of the runes are coming off, if only it were that easy. Malec. Let's talk about Malec. So, I am so glad about how they are doing Malec now, because in season 1, everyone was complaining, well, I say everyone, all the booktubers and all the people who hate the show were well, I say, oh, no, I'm not going to band all the booktubers together. Quite a few of the booktubers and quite a few people were complaining, oh, Malec is so, like, instant love. Like, they're, like, they barely know each other and they're in love. But Harrison Jr. has been clarifying, like, he's like, no, they're not even, like, together officially yet. Like, they're taking it step by step, and that was very clear in episode 1. Like, they don't really, I wouldn't say they don't interact a lot, there's a lot of conversation going on between the both of them, which is brilliant. Communication is key, whether it's negative or positive in a relationship. You need to talk, especially when you're going through such a difficult time. So, I mentioned in first thoughts that I don't condone how Alec treated Magnus, and I don't. I don't think it was very fair for him to yell or get angry at him, because it's not Magnus's fault. And that line, after all I did for you, oh my god. It was just like, what did you do for him? I'm sorry, what? Are you talking about the kiss at the wedding? You don't be an asshole, Alec. Just like, that wasn't for him, as Magnus says, that's for you. But the thing that I love, aside from the apology scene, we'll get to that in a minute, the thing that I love the most is that Magnus didn't take it. This wasn't one of those things where they sort of take it and they cower in a corner and they're like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. Magnus was just like, stop it. Like, I'm not taking this shit. I am the High Warlock of Brooklyn. I'm not getting yelled at by a bloody shadow hunter who's hundreds of years younger than me. No. You can go away and think about what you've done, and when you figure it out, you come back and we'll have a lovely apology scene. Which was just, I thought it was great. It's a great way to portray the relationship, because it seems that in series, it seems to be like whenever couples fight, it's immediately like, oh my god, they're fighting, they're gonna break up, it's awful. But no, fights don't mean that they're gonna break up. And in fact, fights can be quite healthy. It's a way of venting, as long as you don't say anything incredibly offensive. And communication was something Malec definitely lacked in the books. I hope I can say that without enduring the wrath of Cassandra Clare's block finger on the block button on her profile. I don't think I follow her anymore anyway. But something that was majorly lacking in Mortal Instruments was communication between Magnus and Alec. Most of their issues as a couple could have easily been talked out. So it's very assuring to see them communicating, talking to each other, talking out their problems, realising when they've done wrong and apologising. It's amazing, and it's good to see, because hopefully that gives me hope that they're going to portray their relationship a lot better than it was done in the books. So the apology scene, yes, it was so sweet. And I'm actually glad they didn't kiss, because if they'd kissed, it would seem like in episode 1, they're immediately trying to get the Malec in, they're trying to get the viewers in, they're trying to go, oh look, there's our gay couple again, look, they're kissing, come watch. It would seem like it was all for the fans, and it's kind of gross to think that that's the only reason some people would tune in. So I'm glad to see that they're waiting a bit before actually getting to the kisses, and to be honest, their kind of domestic interactions are a lot more exciting anyway. When Magnus fixed Alec's coat and he blushed, it was so cute, and it was just like, I love this so much more than kissing. This is the best stuff. This is the stuff I want to see. I want more fluff. So their relationship is like relationship goals right now. Like, this is how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to talk, you're supposed to communicate, you're supposed to apologise, recognise when you've done wrong, don't take shit. Even if the person is going through a lot, That's something important. Even if someone's going through a lot, you still can't treat other people like dirt just because you're in a lot of pain. It's hard, but you can't. So it was good to see Alec recognise that and apologise, because that's all it takes. It wasn't like he threw Magnus out the door or anything. He was just a bit conflicted and upset, and he admitted to it and he apologised, and Magnus accepted it, and that's how it goes. And they're still together, and it's beautiful, and their relationship goals. And can we acknowledge, I saw this on Tumblr and I want to acknowledge it in my video, that the only canon couple that got together on screen right now is a biracial gay couple, with one of the characters being bisexual. I think that's just amazing. It's not something you see on TV that much anymore. And when I say the only canon couple on screen, we can also acknowledge that the other canon couple is a biracial couple, Jocelyn and Luke. So Shadowhunters is just slaying everything right now. They're slaying representation right now. It's amazing, and I can't wait to see more. I remember Imria Tobia said, I think it was, that a character is going to come out in one of the episodes with a sexuality that has never been represented on screen before. So that'll be really interesting to see, I think. I can't wait for that. Right, let's talk about Jace and Valentine. I've said before, I am not a fan of Jace. I have said that I don't hate him, but I don't love him either. I don't have any particular feelings towards him, but it seems that I feel really fucking bad for him. It seems to be forgotten a lot that Valentine is Jace's abuser. He was abused by his father, and he's been forced to go back with him for the sake of his friends. And it's very easily forgotten that he's his abuser, and I think it's something that needs to be acknowledged more. And there are a lot of characters that actually are abuse survivors in Shadowhunters. Jocelyn's an abuse survivor, Luke is an abuse survivor, Jace is an abuse survivor, Magnus is even an abuse survivor. And it is so overwhelmingly poignant how their interactions are. There's a resentment there, but there's also a sort of flicker of, this is my dad, he raised me, I don't know what to think. And Dominic Sherwood is playing it very, very well, and I can't wait to see how the relationship progresses more. And it's scaring me because it's getting really dark, and the theme of the entire show, you can tell, is dark. Like the shots, like even in the Instagram and everything, there's a sort of tint of darkness, as if it's hinting at what's going to happen, at the darkness that's going to keep progressing from here on in. And I can't wait to see that more and more, because you need a little bit of darkness. You need to be able to put across what is so bad about this world, what needs fixed, and you can't do that without getting a little bit dark and a little bit gritty and maybe a little bit graphic as well. So I can't wait to see more of it, but I'm also kind of scared at the same time, because I don't want to see any of them hurt. I don't want to see anyone like get in trouble, and I'm just scared. Like, I want it, but I don't at the same time, so I'm just kind of like So it's like I saw on Tumblr that one of the, I can't remember if it was a writer or a showrunner, but somebody who works on the show, I can't remember her name, but I'll put an annotation with her name on it. She mentioned that in season 2B they are going to introduce, now this is spoilers, so if you don't want to see it, click off. They're going to introduce Downworlder registration, which is that if anyone has demon blood in them, they have to register so that the clave can follow their every movement. And can you believe how like relevant that is right now? Shadowhunters is taking a massive risk if they go with this plotline, and I really hope they do, because it's something that needs to be acknowledged, how wrong such an idea would be. We need to see and have it put across, whether it be on media or anywhere, how much of a bad idea that is, whether it's about downworlders or people of different ethnicity or religion. It's like, no, you don't do that. You don't need to. That's wrong. But I really can't wait to see if they do that plotline. I want to see how they portray such a thing. I want to see them acknowledge how wrong it is. I want them to, can't wait to see it. I can't wait to watch it. I love the idea of all these plot lines that are coming along. So at the very end, Jace kills a vampire who had surrendered to the clave. It was her, like, she didn't really mean it. It was her way of going like, oh, you can't kill me now. But Jace still killed her, even though she had surrendered to the clave. Whether it was her way of not getting killed or not, she had still done it. According to Shadowhunter law, that means he can't kill her, but he did anyway. And then Jocelyn comes in and she shoots Valentine through the shoulder, and it was just like, oh, it was like, oh my god. But she was aiming for, I don't know whether she was aiming for Jace or aiming for Valentine, but she loaded up after she hit Valentine, so it was clear that she wanted to hit Jace as well. So, and we see in the sneak peeks for episode 2, is anyone else bothered by how many of those they release? I think that they release too much, but we'll get into that. You see in the sneak peek that Clary was really pissed off, Alf was really pissed off, everyone's really pissed off because it's just like, Jocelyn, why are you trying to kill your son? Why? But she explains about the demon blood and how, like, yeah, I don't know what else to do. And it would be, I can't think of a way to explain the problem with the demon blood and Jocelyn and Valentine without giving away spoilers, because it's what I know from the book. There is something that makes sense, and I think the way that someone on YouTube explained it this way, and I think it's a good way to explain it without spoiling anything. Jace has had demon blood injected into him unnaturally. Downworlders have it in them by their natural biology, whether it's by how they were born, how they were turned, it's just how they are. Their bodies are made to interact with demon blood. That is the complete opposite for Shadowhunters. They have part angel blood. They have the complete opposite type of blood from Downworlders and demons, and suddenly Jace has is coursing through them, and I think Jocelyn thinks, crap, this is bad, this means that he must be evil. It's not right of her, but it explains why she isn't racist against the Downworlders, but she still doesn't like the idea that Jace has had demon blood injected into him. I still don't agree that she tried to kill him, but still, I understand from what I know from the books if they're going to go that way. I kind of hope they don't, because it's a kind of shitty plot line, but from what I know in the books, I can understand why Jocelyn doesn't want to try and kill him. I don't agree with it, but I get why, what her reasoning was. I don't understand, I don't sympathise, I don't go like, oh yes, she's totally understandable, but I can get why I can hopefully get why they're going that way. But it'll be interesting to see what next week is like, if Valentine survived that harpoon through the shoulder. So that was it, guys. That was my fair and unbiased review. I can't wait to see you all next week for more. See you all next week, Shadowhunters, Angels and Downworlders alike. Have fun. Can't wait to see you next week. Enjoyed this review video? If you want, you can check out my other videos just here. Just leave them there if you want to just have a look. I do crack videos, music videos. I have a news segment for Shadowhunters for any time episodes aren't airing. If you want to check any of that out, if you're a fellow Shadowhunters fan like me, this could be your fix if you like. So do check it out if you want to, and like, comment and subscribe if you want to see more.